trickling in, but thank you guys so much for joining us today for this Walk MS workshop. This workshop will be recorded today, and we will be sending out that recording afterwards. My name is Steph Kumler. I'm the development coordinator for Walk MS Ohio. And I'm just so excited that you all are here with us today. I am also going to introduce everyone else in our Mid-Atlantic team staff that's joining us today. So when I say your name, if you could give a little wave, that would be great. So we have Claire joining us from Virginia. Susan joining us from Pittsburgh. Melanie joining us from Philly. Samantha from the DC, Maryland area. Christina coming from Maryland. Megan coming from Delaware. Kelly coming from the Pittsburgh area. Vince coming from Maryland, DC. And Alex coming from Cincinnati. Yay! Okay, cool. So we are gonna just jump right in. Next slide, please. Awesome. So we're going to talk about just a few meeting best practices here. So we're going to ask you to stay on mute while our speakers are presenting today, but you will have the opportunity during this to share your experiences or ask questions also. And we would love it if you can and would like to be on camera. We'd just love to see you guys. So you're welcome to stay on camera the whole time or pop in and out, whatever's best for you. So depending on whether you're joining us from a browser or a team desktop, we're going to point out a few button options that you'll see at the top or the bottom of your screen. So the first is your mute line. The second would be turning on and off your webcam, raising your hand if you have a question, using the chat bot to ask questions or just chat with the other participants or staff in here, or to leave the meeting. So on the next slide, I'm going to show you those icons a bit closer up. So the microphone there is the mute and unmute. And like I said, we ask that you stay muted while our speakers are speaking today. And feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions and we can get you unmuted. Also, that video, you can be on or off video by clicking the video camera there, and then the chat, which is the little text bubble, to make sure you're chatting with the other people in this group. I'm not really going to be able to see the chat because I'm speaking, but other people will be looking at that. Oh, look at those little hearts. That's cute. Yeah, so then that's what we're talking about next, using the emojis in the hands. So you can press that little hand button to raise your hand if you have a question, but you can also feel free to use those other emojis to show that you agree or disagree, that you love what's being said or you want to celebrate it. So we encourage all the emojis in this chat. So let's talk briefly now about what we're going to be doing today. So, all right, everyone, let's get into today's presentation. Today, we're so excited to have two very special guest speakers with you. We will hear from a top team captain in Maryland about how to live with MS effectively, and then hear from an MS Navigator about all the wonderful services they offer. And after both speakers, there will be some times to ask questions and share things that you'd like to share. And then we'll wrap it up with some friendly walk reminders also. So this is Rebecca Scott. Let's welcome our first speaker today. She's a top team captain out of Maryland for Team Rebecca. Rebecca is passionate about making work and life suck less, especially for people living with chronic illnesses. She does this through her work at her cleverly named Rebecca Scott Coaching and her writing at stumbler.blog. She is a contributor to the MS Guide on YouTube. She is a proud DC resident and has lived with MS for over 17 years. In that time, she supported the National MS Society through Walk MS and DIY fundraiser that she's called Half-Assed Halloween. In her free time, you can find her making a mess in the kitchen, reading, and surrendering to the sweet stillness of Yoga Nidra. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rebecca. We're so happy to have you here. So I'm going to go ahead and go off mute, and Rebecca, you take it away.
All right, let's do this. Sorry, I'm setting a timer to make sure I don't derail the agenda for today. So hi, it's wonderful to see you all. As was just said, my name is Rebecca Scott. I live in Washington, D.C. I love being a part of Walk MS, and I'm so grateful to everyone on this call who has walked or who has supported the walkers, or who is Vince, who supports me and invited me to be on this call. Vince reached out to me because a few years ago, when it was MS Awareness Day, you know, that day in May that we all pay attention to and nobody buys us presents for, which still makes me upset. I did a video of my top 5 tips for living well with MS. So I'm going to share them with you now, and I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So tip 1, assemble your squad. First and foremost, your squad should be made up of the doctors and caregivers who are going to make sure that you're living your healthiest life. You need to be sure that these are people in whom you can place your complete trust, people who are smart as hell, people who more than anything make you feel comfortable, because heaven knows living in any body as it ages is uncomfortable, and when you do it with MS, it's even more so. So you need someone you can bring your dirtiest laundry to say, this is going on with me. What can we do about it? Now, your squad can't just be doctors. So please put in the chat who else is in your squad. Well, I tell you who is in my squad. My squad is made up of my fabulous husband, who is off camera but on the call. My stepdaughter is a huge part of my squad, as are my 2 fantastic sisters. My parents, yes, family and friends are a huge part of your squad. So make sure you're surrounded by people who love and support you, because that is going to take you so much farther. Tip 2. Ask for help. I hate asking for help. I am like a toddler with a bowl and a big box of cereal, man, and I want to do it all myself. But you know what? I can't anymore. And sometimes asking for help is really easy, like saying to my husband, can you please get that book for me from across the room? And sometimes it's awkward and hard. Like, you know how I said, yeah, to have a doctor you're comfortable with? I said to my doctor, I'm peeing like 20 times a day. Can you do something about that? And you know what? It took a few tries, but eventually we came up with a solution that works. And now my life is better because I asked for help. Help can also take lots of other forms. Mobility aids can be help. Shower bars are a form of help. A rolling stool in my kitchen that allows me to continue to make those messes is help. And I gotta say, I resisted each one of these things stubbornly. Again, toddler with the cereal, do it myself. However, Once I got over the initial hurdle of, oh God, this is hard, I don't like this, things got better. And that is a glorious thing. Tip 3, celebrate all of your victories. Now, I want everyone on this call, have MS, don't have MS, give it a little thought and think of something that's happened in the past like 48 hours that's worth celebrating. It could be as big as, I don't know, you hit a new fundraising goal, or as tiny as you poured a glass of water and you didn't spill it. My little victories these days tend to be things like, I got up this morning and I did 10 minutes of Pilates. I've done more Pilates on other days, but damn it, I got up and did the Pilates. Again, that's a good thing and should be embraced. I also put on this shirt without falling over in a half-naked heap on the floor. It has happened in the past. And I ate breakfast. And as you can see, I am wearing none of it, which is a huge thing for somebody with hand tremors. I firmly believe that if you store up all of these little victories inside of yourself, when you're having a crappy day, you can call on them and they can support you just a little. Speaking of crappy days, here comes tip 4. Feel your feelings, whatever they are. If you are one of those MS warrior types, you go on with your bad self. That's not me. The armor doesn't fit. I never figured out how to hold the spear. I am more of an MS crier, shall we say? You know what? I really can and do laugh at the absurdity of many of the things that I go through as a person with MS. But at the same time, there are some days when I don't pour the glass well, or I do pour it just fine, and then I drop it on the damn floor and I make a mess, and someone else has to clean up that mess, and then I trip and I fall. And you know how days like this can go, MS or no MS. Some days are just crappy. And on days like that, for me, I need to cry. I curl up in a ball and I weep and I weep and I weep and I am a mess. And then I clean myself up and I feel a little better. Please don't let anyone tell you what is the right way to approach life with MS. Whatever you're feeling, I encourage you to feel it. If you're feeling it too hard and you need outside help from a therapist, that's great. Reach out to them, feel with them, and come up with a way to continue to get through the days. All right, tip 5. Throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. It's a weird phrasing, but go with me. So you didn't know at the beginning of your diagnosis what was going to work for you, but you talked to your doctor and you kind of muddled through it together, and you maybe had to adjust it along the way, but you figured it out because you tried. Similarly, there are all kinds of complementary therapies that you can try. Let me see what I can remember. I have tried, cog fog. The struggle is real. I have tried Reiki, which is a form of energy theory of healing. I've tried acupuncture. I have tried, okay, here's the wacky one. Floating in a sensory deprivation tank, because I read in a magazine somewhere it was really good for people with MS. You do it naked. It's super awkward. I do not recommend it. But you know what? If it calls out to you, try it. If it is safe and not too expensive. Like, what the heck? The world is a banquet. Maybe it'll make your life better. And guess what? I have found a few things that work for me. The first one is massage therapy. Could not live without it. The second is Pilates, working with a personal trainer, which I've mentioned a few times. And the third is meditation and that great yoga nidra. What a great way to relax. Cannot recommend it highly enough. May not work for you. That's cool. All right, according to my timer, I have 16 seconds. So real quick, here's tip 6. Be kind to yourself. I didn't include this one the first time around when I did my video. But maybe I wasn't being as mean to myself as I have been lately. I don't know about you, but I have a chorus of jerks in my head constantly saying things like, if you exercised more often, your situation sure would be better. I bet if you ate better, it would be even better. Well, I just think you're being lazy today. And I think I should have practiced all of those voices a little more. However, you get me. There's this chorus of jerks, and it's a good idea to shut them down. Because you know what? If they were outside of my body saying those things, I would be so angry and I would shut them down. But because they're inside of me, I listen. And that's messed up. So I encourage you to exercise kindness to yourself. If you take nothing else from this frantic 10-ish minute talk from me, please be kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was just fantastic. All of those things, like you said, whether you live with MS or not, celebrating the little things, feeling your feelings, being kind to yourself, trying new things. Those are all things that we can take and use. And girl, I am your yoga nidra sister. That stuff is fantastic. Let's go to a yoga class together sometime.
Let's do it.
But honestly, no, you are a blast, and I'm so glad that you were here. Thank you for your wisdom, as well as your laughs. It was really great to hear from you today. So everybody, let's give some virtual claps for Rebecca. And now let's meet our MS Navigator that we have here today. So this is Leah. She is an MS Navigator and has been with the Society for 2 years, going on this August. Thanks so much, Leah, for joining us today. We are so excited to hear from you and about all the things, the wonderful things that the MS Navigators do. So, Leah, why don't you just start us off by giving us a little introduction of yourself and also just telling us what is an MS Navigator?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I have to first say, thank you, Rebecca, for sharing your story. And I'm hoping that after we learn more about what MS Navigators are, that you can all think of us as part of your squad as well. So I've been working for the Society for about 2 years now, and I'm located in the Philadelphia office. And what is an MS Navigator? I think that's a great question to start off. So MS Navigators work to find solutions throughout your MS journey. And it's really just as needs and challenges evolve. We explore and help inform you about all available resources to ensure you have what you need to live day to day. And it may be helpful to talk about what some of those things are. So just a brief overview. Sometimes that can be proper housing, equipment for independent living, and access to quality health care. We connect you to information about education, resources that are nationally, locally in your community. It can also be if you're facing a new diagnosis, if you're wondering what symptom management strategies may be out there. Also, a lot of guidance on financial planning for living with MS, help in understanding benefits such as health insurance, employment-related concerns, disclosure in the workplace, and something that I also like to highlight is connecting to other people with MS. A lot of times, sometimes, depending on the area that you live in, it can be really isolating if you don't have a community that's around you. So we try to offer support groups and emotional support resources. And lastly, we do sometimes deal with crises that occur and reporting to appropriate authorities when that happens. I think the thing I love about our Navigator program is that support is one-on-one. So it's customized to each individual and family because every person's with MS experience is different. So whether that involves helping to address barriers someone is facing, or conducting assessments to determine how we can best support you where you are.
That's awesome. Thanks, Leah. So next, if you could just let us know, do you have to have MS to call a navigator?
So no, anyone who is seeking information, resources, support, they can all call a navigator. I always say if anyone has a question about MS or anything related to MS, reach out. We often connect with people with MS, caregivers, family members, social workers, and also part of like your rehabilitation team, whether that's your PT, your OT. We connect with a lot of different people. So no, you don't have to have MS.
Awesome. And then what does it cost to contact a navigator, or does it cost any money?
So it does not cost any money to contact a navigator or to be enrolled in our case management program. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on.
Awesome. So could you just talk us through like what can I expect if I call an MS navigator? What's the process like?
Yeah, no, it can be really intimidating to sometimes call someone over the phone, speak to someone, and divulge a lot of sensitive information you probably would never tell someone the first second you meet them. So it can be helpful to have expectations. So the first thing when we call is we just ask about what you're calling about. We try to meet you where you are in terms of what questions you're wondering about. So I say just start the call off with exactly what you're looking for. And if you're not sure what you're looking for, sometimes we can do like a brief overview of our programs, our resources to try to just make sure you're educated about what support is available to you. We provide resources, but also financial assistance. So if someone is calling asking for financial assistance for a certain kind of request, there is kind of a process which navigators go through with constituents. And usually, briefly, that would be confirming your diagnosis, whether that's a statement from your neurologist or a photo of your MS medication you're taking at home. We would also make sure that you qualify for our income for our financial assistance program. We operate by about 400% of the poverty guideline, which is pretty generous. But that's not a hard guideline right now. During COVID, we are trying to be more flexible with that, really taking into consideration what your income is, what your expenses look like, if there truly is a need there. In addition, we would get any documentation needed around the request, whether that's an invoice or an estimate. We would also complete a 10 to 20 minute assessment over the phone. Sometimes it can last longer depending on how the conversation goes, but the navigator would ask questions about income, your expenses, and questions relating to your MS. And I like to think of it more as a conversation and less of like a formal assessment, because it really is a chance for us to better get to know you and how your MS affects you so we can best know how to work, partner to meet that goal. Um, yeah.
Awesome. So what if someone with MS has a lot of overwhelming needs and can't connect to the resources in their community independently, maybe due to lack of technology or social support, speech difficulties, inability to write, etc.? What would you guys do to step in that situation?
Right. No, that's a great question. And sometimes there are situations or more complex cases where people have a lot of barriers they're facing and they need more support to connect to those resources. So usually they'll first connect with the navigator. They'll do that assessment that we just talked about to just find out if it's something a navigator can help you with, if you just need a little bit more support, or if you really do need someone else working with you in person to really accomplish what you're needing to get. And when the challenges of life with MS, when they're overwhelming, if support systems or resources are lacking, we usually would look to initiate case management services through our Edward Dowd Personal Advocate Program. And you would need to speak with a navigator first. And usually, if you are appropriate, if it's a good fit, the navigator would consult with the case manager for your state. If they feel like it's also a good fit, you would then be referred or moved into our case management program, and they would connect you with a case manager locally in your area that we contract with. Usually that's about short term, maybe 3 months or so, depending on if you're able to meet the goals or where the case ends. And that case manager always does have a contact with us in the society if you would need to pull on us for resources or support. And those case managers do go through training to be the support. So they have a little bit more background so they know. The population that they're going to help. And they really do in-home assessments, goal-based planning to find sustainable solutions to help maintain independent living, improve your quality of life. And yeah, that's our case management program. So if you know of anyone or who's really needing more support one-on-one in person, that's something that would be helpful to ask if you call in for.
Awesome. And then what do you like about being a navigator? Why be with the society for almost 2 years at this point?
Yeah, no. There's so many things that I could say, but I have a passion for working with the MS community. I think it always comes back to the people we serve that makes doing this job so incredible. And the work we do can, and I've seen how it does change people's lives, and even sometimes for years to come. The constituents we serve, we connect with daily. They come from all walks of life. And each client I speak with is the expert of their own experience. So I feel like as much as they may learn something from me, I learn so much from them. And if I can be a piece of hope in a really dark time, if I can connect someone and help get them a piece of equipment that they've been needing for years or can't afford, I think it's just coming back to making a difference in someone else's life and helping people feel empowered, feel seen, and a lot of times, hopefully, feel hopeful for the first time.
That's amazing. I mean, Leah, you have given us so much good information here. Let's bring it back to the basics real quick. How does someone contact the MS Navigator if they want to use these services?
Yes. So there's 3 ways people can connect with us. And we do that because we know there's different needs out there. So the first thing, you can call in. The number is 1-800-344-4867. You would connect with an MS Navigator that way. Another option is email. You can email us, and I believe the number or email should be here somewhere. And lastly, and also if you email us, usually the navigator will respond via email, or if you feel like you need a call, you can write that in the message, or there is an option to say yes if there's a question and you need to call, and you can give consent for us to call you there. In addition, the last one is you can chat with a navigator. So during our standard hours, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time, there are navigators that are staffed to take chats, and that is just through through the website. And it's usually like a little orange box on the bottom right-hand corner. It says chat with a navigator.
Amazing. And then I think Susan has linked the number and also the website into the chat. So if anyone's looking for that. Yeah. Is there anything else, Leah, that you would like to share before we open it up for questions for both of you guys about being a navigator?
I don't know how much time, so just let me know. But I did have kind of a case to share just about someone I worked with regarding some help we provided. So I didn't know if there was time to share that or not. Just let me know.
Yeah, I think we have time. Any of my fellow staff want to?
I think we're good on time.
We have time.
Okay.
Go ahead, Leah.
So there was I changed the names for confidentiality and everything. So this is Stacy, someone who I've been working with. She is 60 years old. She was diagnosed with MS, and she reached out looking for financial assistance in covering her out-of-pocket cost for her ankle foot orthotic. And upon assessment, we also discussed assistance for an emergency assistance system. So if she fell, she needed to dial something, someone would be there. So an EAS system. We also talked about a medication dispenser that can help her take her medications on time. And lastly, we did talk about and providing support for an adjustable bed frame and a new mattress. She lives alone. Her family is nearby. She was on a fixed income of Social Security, disability, and alimony, which totaled to about $1,100 a month. Her limited income made it really difficult for her to afford other out-of-pocket costs after all of her expenses were paid for. So that's why she was reaching out to us. I wanted to talk a little bit more about her need around it because I think it helps describe the impact. So for the ankle foot orthotic, she had lost mobility on her left side, which is why she was prescribed an AFO. She had Medicare and was having difficulty affording her 20%. So we were able to help her in affording the rest of that. And I remember she told me it was made incredible difference having that. So we were so happy for her. In addition, she was falling frequently in her home, which is a real big safety concern for us. Her children worried about her a lot, which also caused her some anxiety too. So we were able to recommend an EAS system that does not have monthly costs. So it wouldn't put her at any more expenses there and would give her that safety she needed in the home. She also had tried different pill dispensers. She shared that these didn't work well for her because she always didn't have her meds at the beginning or for the week to set them up, or she couldn't remember what time to take them during the day. She had 14 different pills, and some were not just once a day. So I looked into several medication systems that would try to be a good fit for her. She thought one would work well, so we ordered it for her, and she tried it out. It had an alarm that where it told her when she should be taking her pills. There were sounds, there were lights, and a button she had to press to acknowledge that she took it. So ever since she had that, she told me she was taking all her medications on time. It was making a huge difference for her. So we were really, really happy about that. And the last thing was an adjustable bed frame and mattress. So she originally saved up over months being on limited income, to purchase a reclining chair. She had some bed sores and it was super uncomfortable for her to lay in her bed. So she was purchasing this reclining chair so she would lay down in that. And after she bought it, she realized it really wasn't comfortable for her. So she had to sleep back in her bed, and she really didn't know what would be the fix for this. So we had her talk to her doctors about some different options that would work for her. When she was laying down for too long, her blood pressure would get really low. She was also at risk for aspirating, which is very scary. So we went through our special considerations team, which is a team we have. If a request is going to be larger than a certain cap we have for a certain category of financial assistance, we can reach out to our special consideration team to ask if they'd be open to approving more funds to help out in a more meaningful way. So they were able to approve more funding so we could purchase her an adjustable bed frame, and also a zero gravity mattress, which she tried out in store and completely alleviated her pain, and would prevent the aspirating where she needed to come up a little bit more. And at first, her doctors were recommending a hospital bed. She's in her 60s. She was going through a lot of emotional feelings, which is totally to be expected about hearing that you need to be given a hospital bed in your 60s. So we partnered together to find a solution and she was asking, what if I meet someone? What if I bring them home and the first thing they see is my hospital bed? And I think those are very real concerns. And we were able to talk with her doctors. They said it was fine to buy an adjustable bed frame from a sleep store instead, as long as it had that 30-degree tilt. And her mattress is going to be delivered this week. So we're really, really excited for her. So that's just one case, one example of some work we did.
That is amazing, Leah. I'm so glad that you shared that story. That's just really brings that all together, of even what Rebecca said, of having that home team of you guys work together with the person living with MS and with the doctors to really find that overall solution, not just for their body health, but for their mental health and for their life. And that is just such a beautiful thing. And we're so thankful for the Navigators program. And yeah, I just saw Susan also just put in the email address. So all three of those contacts, are email, phone, and the chat, are all linked in our chat here. And I'm sure you can reach out to whoever is your local walk person also, and they'd be happy to send you those links. So thank you so much, Leah, for sharing everything that you shared today. That was just incredible, even for me, to learn about the Navigators today. So I just want to open up the floor for a few minutes. If any of our participants have questions for either Rebecca or Leah, we'd love to hear those. Go ahead, Kathy. You can come off of mute if you'd like, or you can type it in the chat, whichever you'd prefer.
I was just curious, how many navigators are there? How big is the crew to allow so much individual attention and follow-up, which sounded great, Leah?
No, that's a great question. I honestly don't have the exact number of how many navigators we have, but I know that it's more than 50. But if we need to get back to you with an answer on that, I can get that for you.
Oh, thanks. A general idea was what I was looking for. That's great. What a great team.
Thank you.
Looks like Lisa has her hand raised as well.
Yes, hi. My name is Lisa Hollier. I'm in the Richmond, Virginia area. Leah, I have a question for you. I know the society is really focused on creating connections for people with MS. I was diagnosed in 2009 and am very active in walk, but I also sit on our local board. And one of the conversations we're having is, again, how to create those connections. And I'm just curious, every now and then someone will reach out to me who knows someone who was just diagnosed. Do you think it's valuable to suggest they give you a call? And it sort of touches on something you said, but even if they don't know what they want, just as a way, like I want to figure out what's the best way to connect them to the society, and just curious of your thoughts on that.
I love that you're asking that. And yes, I would say it would be beneficial for anyone who has a family, a friend, who knows someone living with MS, if they want to know how to best support them, to learn a little bit more about what they're going through. I would say they can email, they can reach out any of those ways, but if they want to have a conversation, a dialogue about it, it's best to call in, because it's a good way for us to hear what they're going through, talk about exactly what they're looking for, and really pinpoint how we can best serve them. We have some really great resources for caregivers, family, whether that's literature. We have a whole caregiver literature packet, which is great for family support partners, and tons of wonderful literature about how you can be the best support partner for someone with MS. So,
Do you know, is there any literature that's, I guess, more global to answer, I was just diagnosed with MS, like, now what? I know that's how I felt when I first heard the diagnosis. It felt like it came out of left field. Unlike some others, I hadn't had symptoms long term. I literally had vision issues and a week later had a diagnosis in hand. And it just, I didn't know what to do with it at first.
yeah, you're right. It can be so confusing, overwhelming when you initially get a diagnosis, not knowing where to start. And I always hope that the doctors encourage and constituents to call in to the society, because the more we can connect with people early on in a diagnosis, the best we can make sure that they have the best care. We always ask someone who's newly diagnosed, where are in that process? Do you have a neurologist? Do they have experience treating MS? Because not all neurologists do. We have a whole newly diagnosed literature packet that we send people who are
Right.
new, that talks about our society programs, our literature, our services, our social supports. So I would say give us a call. We'll probably talk about your general questions, and then we're on a as needed basis. So if
Right.
there are more things that evolve, they can always call back in, and we always document if they have an account with us every interaction, so we know what resources we sent, what they were looking for. So if someone to call back in, we can pick up right where we left off.
That's great. Thank you.
Hey, Steph, I have a question for Rebecca.
Yeah,
Hey,
go ahead.
Rebecca, where can people see more of your thoughts, comments, videos?
Sure thing. All right. So I will put my blog in the chat. You can also find me at Scorebecca on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm not super active on either, but I do repost some MS related things pretty regularly, and you'll also get some rants from me on both of those places. And if you're curious about coaching, which is something that I was really skeptical about when I first heard about it, and then really fell in love with it after I got trained, you can find me at RebeccaScottCoaching.com. And again, I coach all kinds of people with work challenges and what kind of leaders they want to be and things like that. But my passion is working with people who are working the two jobs of being employed and having a chronic illness, which we all know can be a full-time job on its own. So there are a few places to find me, and I do work with the MS Guide, which is a new thing on YouTube. You can hear me talk about incontinence in all of its disgusting glory and all kinds of other very frank things there. So that's a lot of places to get more me. It's probably more me than anyone, including me, needs. Thanks for asking.
Anyone else have any questions, comments, thoughts for our two wonderful speakers today? All right, awesome. Then we will move on to some reminders, upcoming programs. First of all, once again, I want to say thank you so much, Rebecca and Leah, for being here and for taking some time out of your day to just share your experiences with us and yeah, hopefully encourage some of the participants here. So, and thank you everyone else who came as well. We're just really excited to see your guys' faces and interact with you a little bit more on this strange year. But here are some upcoming reminders and exciting things. So first of all, just a reminder, we still have until September 30th to continue to fundraise for the 2021 walk. So that's exciting. There's still a lot of time. Reach out to your walk coordinator if you just need any encouragement or ideas for raising. A reminder that we have the matching gift program. So if you haven't checked yet your employer or your donors' employers out on our matching gift, we have, what would you call it? Like the website, all you have to do is type in the name of your business or organization and it'll tell you if they have a matching gift program or not. It's like the easiest thing since sliced bread. Let me tell you, it's great. So make sure you're checking that out on our website. And then also remember that we still have that Walk MS check capture feature. Makes it super easy to download those checks and get them right onto your fundraising page immediately. And then lastly, on August 11th from 2 to 3:30 p.m., join us in the VA MS Center of Excellence to learn strategies for developing your own personal resilience. This program will be hosted online and is open to all, regardless of where you live. You need an active email address to register and participate in the meeting, and the link is going to be the link will be provided upon registration. So if you have questions about that, again, reach out to your Walk MS person who's here on this call. And yeah, we are so glad you all came here today. Just so glad to see you all, and thank you so much. I think that's it. Oh, well, actually, I do want to say a look real quick into the August series. So on August 18th, we're going to have another one of these where we'll have a celebrity panel where you can hear and ask questions to multiple functions of the society. So keep an eye on your inboxes for information on that coming soon. And thank you again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in August.
Thank you.